She will not crave the man who gives everything. She craves the man who leaves her wanting more. Folks, this is where most men destroy the tension before it ever has a chance to grow. They meet a woman they want, and immediately they start giving too much. Too many texts, too many explanations, too much availability, too much emotional exposure before she has even earned access to that side of them. And what happens? She stops wondering. My friend, desire needs space to breathe. A woman thinks about the man who does not hand her the whole book in one night. She thinks about the man who gives warmth but not need, interest but not desperation, presence but not constant access. He lets her feel the pull, then gives her room to wonder what is behind his silence, his calm, his direction, his restraint. That is not cruelty, that is self-control. A Stoic man does not chase her mind. He becomes the kind of man her mind returns to. He has a life she can feel, a purpose she cannot interrupt, a mystery she cannot solve too quickly. He knows that if he reveals everything, explains everything, and waits around for her attention, he becomes predictable. And predictable men are easy to forget. In this video, you will learn how to make her wonder, how absence can make your presence stronger, how to hold desire without looking hungry, and why revealing less can make her imagination do what your chasing never could. Stay close, because once you understand this, you will stop begging for her attention and start becoming the thought she cannot shake. Let's get into it. Number 1. Make her wonder. Let's be real, folks. A woman does not keep thinking about the man she can fully predict. She thinks about the man who gives her just enough to feel the pull, but not enough to feel like she has already figured him out. That is where most men fail. They meet a woman they want, and they hand her everything too early. Their schedule, their feelings, their fears, their plans, their attention, their availability. They explain every silence, answer every message immediately, and make their whole interest so obvious that her mind has nothing left to explore. And when her mind stops exploring, desire starts cooling. My friend, mystery is not about lying. It is not about pretending to be someone you are not. It is about having enough depth that you do not give your whole inner world away just because she smiled at you. A man with self-respect does not rush to be understood. He lets people earn access. Think about Richard, 54, a commercial pilot from Denver. He met Elena, 48, at a private wine event after a charity dinner. Elena was attractive, sharp, and used to men trying hard to impress her. Most men told her everything within the first hour. Their jobs, their divorces, their money, their loneliness, their reasons for dating again. Richard did something different. He was warm but measured. When Elena asked about his work, he answered clearly, then shifted the conversation back to her. When she asked if he had ever been married, he smiled and said yes, and it taught me more about myself than I expected. Then he stopped there. He did not unload the whole story. He did not turn the evening into therapy. He did not beg for sympathy. And because he left space, Elena became curious. Later that night, she asked another question, then another, not because he was avoiding her, but because he had not made himself too easy to consume. That is the art of making her wonder. A woman's imagination needs room. If you explain everything, she cannot imagine anything. If you chase every pause, she cannot feel the weight of your silence. If you keep proving that you like her, she never has to ask herself where she really stands with you. But when you are warm without being needy, open without being exposed, present without being constantly available, her mind begins working. Who is this man? What else is behind those eyes? Why does he feel interested but not desperate? Why does he not collapse into me like the others? That question is powerful. A Stoic man understands that his value is not negotiable. His time is not cheap. His attention is not thrown around just because a woman is beautiful. He can desire her and still remain centered. He can enjoy the tension without rushing to resolve it. He can leave a conversation while the energy is still alive, instead of talking until the spark dies. So if you want her to wonder, stop over-explaining, stop filling every silence, stop revealing your wounds before trust exists. Stop acting like her attention is a prize you must win before the night ends. Give her a man with layers. Give her warmth, then restraint. Give her interest, then direction. Give her enough to feel something, but not so much that there is nothing left to discover, because the man she cannot fully read is the man her mind keeps returning to. If this hit home, write this in the comments. I create mystery. Stay with me, because the next part reveals how your absence can pull her closer than your constant presence ever could. Number 2. Let absence pull her. Now listen closely, folks. Constant presence does not always create desire. Sometimes it kills it. When you are always there, always replying, always available, always ready to explain yourself, your presence becomes predictable. And what becomes predictable often stops feeling powerful. Absence, when it comes from self-respect, can pull harder than attention. But do not misunderstand this. I am not telling you to vanish like a coward or play childish games with a woman's emotions. That is not Stoicism. That is insecurity wearing a mask. Real absence is not punishment. Real absence is the natural result of a man who has a life, a mission, and a center that does not orbit around one woman. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving." That applies to relationships too. Your time and presence should improve the connection, not be thrown around so freely that they lose value. If every hour of your day is available to her, she stops feeling the privilege of your attention. A woman thinks more about the man whose presence has weight. When you are with her, be present. Listen. Hold eye contact. Speak with calm. Let her feel your masculine attention fully. But when the moment ends, return to your life. Do not hover. Do not keep the connection alive with meaningless messages. Do not text just because you are afraid she will forget you. If your presence was strong enough, she will remember it better in the silence. That is the part most men do not understand. They think they need to keep reminding her they exist. Good morning. How was your day? What are you doing? Did you miss me? One message after another, not from strength but from anxiety. And every anxious message tells her the same thing. I am still here. I am still waiting. I am still emotionally available whenever you need validation. That does not create longing. It removes it. A Stoic man allows space. He lets a good conversation breathe after it ends. He lets a strong moment echo instead of smothering it with follow-up texts. He understands that the mind returns to what is unfinished, not what is over-explained. When you give her space after a charged moment, her imagination begins to work. She replays your voice. She remembers your calm. She wonders what you are doing. She wonders why you are not chasing the way other men do. That wondering is where attraction deepens, but absence only works when it is backed by a real life. If you are sitting at home staring at your phone pretending to be unavailable, she will eventually feel the weakness underneath. True absence has substance. You are working, training, seeing friends, building something, resting, reading, living. Your silence is not empty. It is filled with your own direction. That is what makes it seductive. You are not absent to make her suffer. You are absent because your life matters. You are not delaying a reply to create anxiety. You are replying when your attention is genuinely free. You are not withholding yourself to manipulate her. You are refusing to be consumed all at once. There is a difference between distance and value. Empty distance feels childish. Valuable distance feels masculine. So let absence pull her. Let her feel that your presence is not guaranteed. Let her understand that when you give attention, it means something because it comes from a man who is not desperate to give it away. If this spoke to you, write this in the comments. I value presence. Let's keep going, because the next part shows why the moment you reveal need, the mystery begins to collapse. Number 3. Never show your need. Here is the truth, folks. Wanting a woman is natural. Needing her is dangerous. A woman can feel the difference immediately, even if you never say the words. When you want her, Your energy is warm, masculine, and controlled. You enjoy her presence, but you are still standing in your own life. When you need her, your energy changes. You start watching her reactions too closely. You text to calm your anxiety. You explain yourself before she even asks. You become available at every hour, not because you are generous, but because you are afraid she will lose interest if you are not there. And my friend, that is when the mystery starts dying. A woman thinks about the man who wants her but does not need her. She feels the pull when your desire has discipline. She notices when you can look at her with interest, speak to her with warmth, and still not hand her control over your entire emotional state. Think about Robert, 56, a financial consultant from Boston. He met Camille, 49, at a private dinner hosted by a friend. Camille was attractive, confident, and used to men bending toward her quickly. Robert liked her, and the tension between them was obvious. She laughed at his dry humor, leaned close when he spoke, and held eye contact just long enough to make the table feel smaller. But Robert made one mistake. After that night, he started needing her response. He texted the next morning, then again that afternoon. Then he sent another message when she took a few hours to reply. At first, Camille seemed interested, but within a week, her energy cooled. Her replies became shorter. The curiosity disappeared. Why? Because Robert had shown need. He had taken the tension of that first night and smothered it with emotional hunger. Camille no longer wondered about him. She knew exactly where he stood. He was waiting. He was available. He was hoping. He had placed his value in her hands. Now compare that to the man Robert became later. He slowed down. He stopped using messages to chase reassurance. He returned to his work, his gym schedule, his friends, and his own rhythm. When he did speak to Camille, he was warm but not eager, interested but not empty. She felt the difference because his attention no longer smelled like need. That is the key. Never showing your need does not mean pretending not to care. It means you care from strength. You do not beg for signs. You do not chase every shift in her mood. You do not make your peace depend on whether she texts back quickly. You do not give her the burden of becoming your source of confidence. A Stoic man has desire, but he does not let desire become dependence. He has attraction, but he does not let attraction become weakness. He can enjoy a woman deeply without making her the center of his identity. That is what makes him hard to forget. So stop revealing need through your behavior. Stop over-texting. Stop checking whether she watched your story. Stop asking hidden questions that beg for validation. Stop giving her your whole emotional world before she has earned access to it. Let her feel that you want her, but you are not lost without her. Let her feel that your life moves forward either way. That is not coldness. That is masculine self-command. If this hit home, write this in the comments. I need nothing. Stay with me, because the next part shows how to set her mind spinning without chasing, begging, or losing control. Number 4. Set her mind spinning. Now listen closely, folks. A woman keeps thinking about the man she cannot place into a simple box. If she can predict every reply, every emotion, every move, and every intention, her mind relaxes. There is no tension left. No question, no pull. But when a man is warm without being owned, present without being obvious and interested, without explaining every feeling, her mind starts working. That is how you set her mind spinning, not by lying, not by playing cruel games, not by making her suffer. A Stoic man does not need cheap manipulation. He understands that the human mind returns to what it has not fully resolved. If you give her all the answers too quickly, she stops searching. If you reveal just enough, then return to your center, she begins to wonder, what does he really think of me? Why did that moment feel intense? Then he stayed so calm. Why does he seem interested but not desperate? That question is powerful, my friend, because once she starts asking it, she has already begun investing emotional energy in you. And people think about what they invest in. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That matters here. If you cannot master yourself, you will rush to clarify every silence. You will explain every mood. You will confess too much too soon. You will destroy the very tension that made her curious in the first place. A man with self-command does not rush to be understood. He lets a moment breathe. He gives a look that holds weight, then goes back to his own rhythm. He says something meaningful, then does not chase her reaction. He gives warmth, but keeps his direction. He does not become an emotional open book just because she smiles at him. That is not coldness. That is depth. Most men make themselves mentally finish too quickly. They tell the whole story of their divorce on the first date. They explain every insecurity. They talk about how badly they want love. They answer every question with too much detail. Then they wonder why the energy turns flat. Because mystery needs oxygen. If you want her mind to return to you, stop overfilling the space. Say less but mean more. Let your silence carry confidence, not fear. Let your answers have edges. When she asks something personal, give truth, but not your entire history. When she feels a spark, do not panic and try to lock it down. Let her feel it, wonder about it, and come closer by choice. That is how attraction deepens. And folks, if you want deeper lessons on masculine mystery, emotional rhythm, stoic restraint, and how to stay powerful without becoming cold, consider joining our membership. Inside, we go further into the mindset that helps a man create desire through self-control, not desperation. Here is the rule. Do not be confusing because you are unstable. Be intriguing because you are layered. There is a big difference. Unstable men create anxiety. Layered men create curiosity. Unstable men make women feel unsafe. Layered men make women want to know more. So do not fake chaos. Build depth. Have private goals. Keep some parts of your life sacred. Stop explaining every absence. Stop announcing every feeling. Stop giving her the whole map of your inner world before she has earned that access. When you do this right, her mind begins to move toward you, even when you are not there. If this spoke to you, write this in the comments. I stay mysterious. Don't go anywhere, because the next part shows how her imagination can do more for your attraction than chasing ever could. Number 5. Make her imagine more. Here is the part most men never understand, folks. A woman does not only think about what you give her, she thinks about what you make her imagine. That is why the man who explains everything too soon loses power, while the man who leaves space inside the moment stays in her mind longer. Imagination is fuel for desire. When a woman has every answer, her mind goes quiet. She knows where you stand. She knows what you feel. She knows what you want. She knows what you will do next. There is no tension left for her to carry. But when she feels something with you and cannot fully explain it, her mind keeps returning to that open space. What did he mean by that? Why did he look at me like that? Why did he pull back right when the energy was getting stronger? That is where imagination begins. Think about Patrick, 55, a private chef from Charleston. He met Renee, 49, at a small dinner party hosted by mutual friends. Patrick was not the loudest man in the room. He did not perform. He did not chase attention. But when he spoke, people listened. Renee noticed that. During the evening, they ended up talking near the kitchen while everyone else was outside. The conversation moved from food to travel to old mistakes people make after divorce. Renee asked him if he believed in falling in love again. Patrick looked at her for a moment and said, "I believe the right woman can make a man remember parts of himself he thought were gone." Then he smiled slightly and changed the subject. That was all. He did not explain who he meant. He did not turn it into a confession. He did not push the romantic energy too hard. He gave Renee one sentence with weight, then left space around it. Later that night, she found herself thinking about it in the car. The next morning, she was still replaying it. Not because Patrick did too much, because he gave her imagination something to hold. That is the move. A man with presence understands that not every moment needs to be completed. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let her wonder. You say something meaningful, then stay calm. You show warmth, then return to your purpose. You let her feel that there is more beneath the surface, but you do not hand her the entire map. This is not lying. This is not pretending. This is restraint. Most men ruin imagination by over-explaining. They say a good line, then explain it. They create tension, then nervously fill the silence. They feel her curiosity, then rush to reassure her. They cannot tolerate the open space, so they close it too fast. And when they close it, the magic disappears. My friend, a woman wants to feel there is more to discover. More stories, more depth, more fire under your calm, more private thoughts she has not earned yet. If you reveal everything, she consumes you quickly. If you reveal just enough, she begins building the rest inside her own mind. And what she builds inside her mind becomes more powerful than what you could force with words. So learn to leave space. When she asks about your past, answer honestly but not endlessly. When the conversation becomes charged, do not panic. Let silence work. When she shows curiosity, do not dump your whole soul on the table. Give her truth in pieces. Let trust earn access. A Stoic man does not need to be fully understood in one night. He knows depth takes time. If this opened your eyes, write this in the comments. I leave space. Stay with me, because the next part shows how to stay warm without becoming owned by her attention. Number 6. Stay warm, then distant. Now listen closely, folks. Warmth is powerful, but warmth without distance becomes cheap. If you are always available, always emotionally open, always ready to answer, explain, reassure, and stay connected, your warmth stops feeling special. It becomes expected. And what is expected rarely creates desire. The key is not to become cold. The key is to stay warm, then return to your own center. That is what most men do not understand. They think if a woman responds well to their attention, they should give more of it immediately. More texts, more compliments, more time, more emotional access. But when you give too much warmth too quickly, you remove the tension that made her feel pulled toward you in the first place. A woman thinks about the man who gives her a real moment, then does not cling to it. You speak with warmth. You hold eye contact. You make her feel seen. You let her feel that quiet masculine interest. Then you go back to your life. You do not hover around waiting for her reaction. You do not send 3 follow-up messages to keep the feeling alive. You do not turn one charged conversation into a confession. You let the moment echo. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." That is the energy here. You are not pulled out of yourself by her smile. You are not thrown off balance by her attention. You can be warm, but you remain firm. You can desire, but you remain disciplined. This is what makes distance attractive when it is done right. It tells her your warmth comes from choice, not need. You are not distant because you want to punish her. You are distant because you have a world to return to. Work, purpose, discipline, silence, friends, health, your own inner life. That kind of distance makes your presence heavier. But be careful, my friend. Some men hear this and become childish. They act warm one minute and rude the next. They ignore messages on purpose. They try to make her anxious. That is not masculine. That is insecurity, pretending to be strategy. A Stoic man does not create chaos. He creates rhythm. Warmth, then space. Interest, then purpose. Presence, then return. That rhythm gives her something to feel and something to remember. If you are only warm, she may enjoy you but stop wondering. If you are only distant, she may feel rejected and close off. But when you are warm without being owned, she feels both safety and tension. She feels invited, but not in control of you. She feels your desire, but she also feels your self-command. And that combination is rare. So when you share a strong moment with her, do not rush to lock it down. If the conversation turns intimate, let it breathe. If she laughs and softens, enjoy it. If there is tension in the air, do not destroy it with nervous talking. Let her carry some of that feeling after you leave. That is how a man stays in her mind without chasing her mind. You give her a moment that feels real, then you do not cheapen it by begging for proof that she felt it too. You trust the weight of your presence. You trust the silence after the moment. You trust that a woman remembers what she feels deeply, especially when the man who made her feel it does not immediately ask for validation. If this gave you clarity, write this in the comments. I stay unowned. Stay tuned, because the next part shows how quiet value can make her think about you more than loud effort ever could. Number 7. Let value speak quietly. Here is something most men forget, folks. Real value does not need to announce itself. A man who constantly tells a woman how successful he is, how many options he has, how different he is, or how much she should appreciate him, is usually revealing the opposite. He is trying to sell what should already be felt. Quiet value is different. It shows in how you move, how you speak, how you handle silence, how you treat people who cannot give you anything, and how little you need to explain your worth. A woman may not say it out loud, but she feels when a man carries value without begging anyone to notice it. Think about 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘁𝗁, a business consultant from Scottsdale. He met Vanessa, 47, at a private networking dinner. Vanessa was used to men trying to impress her. One man talked about his cars, another man kept mentioning his investments, another kept forcing jokes to win her attention. Carl did not compete with any of them. He spoke calmly. He asked good questions. He did not rush to fill silence. When someone interrupted him, he did not get offended. When the waiter made a small mistake, Carl handled it with respect. When Vanessa asked about his work, he answered simply, then moved the conversation toward something deeper. Later that night, Vanessa told a friend, "I do not know what it is, but he feels different." That is quiet value. Carl did not brag. He did not chase. He did not try to prove he was the most desirable man in the room. He simply carried himself like a man who already knew his place in his own life. And because he did not fight for attention, his presence became more noticeable. My friend, women often think more about the man who does not seem desperate to be seen. When every other man is trying to shine, the man who stays composed becomes the mystery. She starts wondering why he is not performing, why he is not chasing, why he seems comfortable without her approval. That question puts you in her mind. But understand this clearly. Quiet value is not arrogance. It is not acting superior. It is not ignoring her to look powerful. It is simply refusing to reduce yourself to a salesman of your own worth. You let your discipline speak. You let your standards speak. You let your calm speak. You let your life speak. A man with quiet value has options, but he does not advertise them. He has ambition, but he does not turn every conversation into a resume. He has sexual confidence, but he does not make crude comments or push too hard. He lets attraction build because he is not hungry for immediate proof. That restraint is powerful. The weak man tries to make her believe he is valuable. The grounded man lets her discover it. And discovery is far more seductive than explanation. When she discovers your depth piece by piece, she invests attention. When she invests attention, she thinks about you. When she thinks about you, your presence starts lasting beyond the moment. So stop performing. Stop telling her you are rare. Be rare. Stop announcing that you have standards. Live by them. Stop trying to prove you are different from other men. Move so differently that she feels it before you say a word. That is how quiet value works. It does not shout, it lingers. If this hit home, write this in the comments. I move quietly. Stay with me, because the next part shows how to keep desire alive without rushing to finish the tension too soon. Number 8. Keep desire unfinished. Now pay attention, folks. Desire often dies when a man rushes to complete every moment too soon. He feels tension with a woman, and immediately he wants to define it, explain it, touch it, label it, confess it, or lock it down. He cannot let the moment breathe. He cannot let the question stay open, and because of that, He kills the very thing that made her think about him in the first place. Unfinished desire is powerful. A woman remembers the moment that almost happened, the look that lasted a little longer, the sentence that carried heat but did not explain itself, the silence after something meaningful was said, the feeling that something was there but not fully revealed. That space is where her imagination starts working. Most men are afraid of that space. They think if they do not act fast, they will lose her. So they talk too much, they text too much, they chase the feeling too hard. They try to turn tension into certainty before attraction has had time to grow roots. But attraction does not always grow from certainty. Sometimes it grows from the unresolved. Seneca said to be everywhere is to be nowhere. Think about that in attraction. If you give all of yourself too quickly, if you are everywhere in her life, in her phone, in her thoughts, in her schedule, in every emotional corner, you become too easy to hold. And what is too easy to hold is often too easy to stop valuing. A Stoic man understands timing. He does not rush to consume every spark. He can feel desire and still remain disciplined. He can sense a woman's interest and still avoid becoming greedy for proof. He knows that a moment does not need to be squeezed until nothing is left. Sometimes the strongest move is to leave while the energy is still alive. That does not mean walking away coldly. It means knowing when to stop before the moment becomes ordinary. You have a strong conversation, then you end it before it becomes forced. You share a charged look, then you return to your center. You give warmth, then you give space. You let her feel that something is possible without making it feel cheap, rushed, or desperate. That is how desire stays awake. This is where men with no control fail. They feel a woman responding, and they immediately want more. More attention, more reassurance, more closeness, more confirmation. Their hunger becomes visible. And once hunger becomes visible, mystery starts disappearing. My friend, a woman wants to feel your desire, but she does not want to feel you being ruled by it. She wants to know there is heat beneath your calm, but she also wants to see that you can control that heat. That combination creates tension. Desire without control feels unsafe. Control without desire feels cold, but desire with control feels magnetic. So learn to leave something unfinished. Do not answer every emotional question too fast. Do not reveal every thought. Do not explain every pause. Do not turn every flirtatious moment into a heavy conversation. Let her wonder. Let her replay. Let her mind return to the part you did not finish. That is not manipulation. That is restraint. A man who respects himself does not pour out every part of his inner world just because the energy gets exciting. He lets attraction build in layers. He lets trust earn access. He lets desire rise without becoming a servant to it. If you understand this, write this in the comments. I hold tension. Stay tuned because the next part shows why revealing less of yourself can make her want to know you even more. Number 9. Reveal just enough. Here is a truth most men ignore, folks. A woman does not become curious about the man who gives her every answer too quickly. She becomes curious about the man who lets her see a door, but does not throw the whole house open in one night. That is what reveal just enough means. You are honest, but not exposed. You are warm, but not spilling. You are open, but still private. You give her enough to feel there is depth behind your eyes, but not so much that she feels she has already consumed your whole story. Think about Walter 57, a retired military officer from Virginia. He met Denise 52 at a charity auction in Washington, D.C. Denise was elegant, sharp, and used to men either bragging too much or confessing too much. Walter did neither. When she asked about his life after the military, he said, "I learned that peace is harder to build than discipline." Then he paused. He did not spend 20 minutes explaining every scar, every divorce, every regret, every dark chapter. He simply gave her one honest line with weight. Denise leaned in. She asked, "What do you mean by that?" Walter smiled and said, "Maybe that is a conversation for another glass of wine." Now, Understand what happened there. He did not lie. He did not dodge like a boy afraid of depth. He revealed a fragment, then let the fragment breathe. Denise's mind had something to work with. She could feel there was a story, but she did not receive the whole story for free. That is seductive because it respects depth. Most men do the opposite. They confuse vulnerability with dumping. They meet a woman, feel a little chemistry, and suddenly unload years of pain, betrayal, insecurity, and loneliness. They think they are being real, but too much too soon can crush attraction because it turns mystery into emotional labor. A woman may care, but she does not want to become your therapist before desire has even had time to grow. My friend, depth should be revealed in layers. A man with an inner world does not hand out the master key at the front door. He allows access through trust, time, and mutual investment. That is not hiding. That is self-respect. When you reveal just enough, you create a living question in her mind. What else is there? What has he been through? What made him this calm? What does he know that he is not saying? Those questions keep her mentally engaged because she feels there is more to discover. But here is the warning. Do not become fake mysterious. Do not give vague answers just to seem deep. Women can feel when a man is performing. Real mystery comes from real substance. You need a life. You need experience. You need purpose. You need private standards. You need parts of yourself you do not give away just because someone is attractive. That is why Stoic restraint matters. You speak truth with control. You do not rush to be fully known. You let your actions, decisions, and calm presence reveal you over time. So when she asks about your past, answer cleanly, not endlessly. When she asks what you want, be clear but not needy. When the moment becomes intimate, do not flood it with every emotion you have. Give her something real, then let her come closer if she wants more. A man who reveals just enough becomes a story she wants to keep reading. If this opened your eyes, write this in the comments: I reveal less. Don't go anywhere, because the final part shows how to leave her wanting more without chasing, forcing, or losing your center. Number 10. Leave her wanting more. Here is the final lesson, folks. The strongest moment is not always the moment you push forward. Sometimes the strongest moment is the one you leave alive. Most men stay too long. They talk until the energy dies. They text until the mystery disappears. They explain until the tension turns ordinary. They feel a woman becoming interested, and instead of trusting the moment, they try to squeeze more out of it. More attention, more confirmation, more closeness. More proof that she felt it too. That is how men ruin desire. Leaving her wanting more does not mean disappearing to hurt her. It does not mean playing games with her emotions. It means understanding timing. It means knowing when the connection is still charged, when her curiosity is awake, when the space between you still has heat, and then having the discipline not to overstay inside that energy. A man with control knows that desire grows when the mind has something to return to. Think about it. The song you remember is not always the one that played the longest. It is the one that ended while the feeling was still strong. The conversation she replays is not the one where you explained every thought in your head. It is the one where you said something that stayed with her, then let silence do the rest. That is the power of leaving something open. You give her a moment, not a full confession. You give her presence, not constant access. You give her a glimpse of your depth, not the entire story of your life. You let her feel your desire, but you do not make your desire look like need. My friend, this is where Stoic restraint becomes seductive. You are not controlled by the urge to finish everything right now. You do not rush to define the tension. You do not chase the answer before the question has done its work. You understand that mystery is not created by being fake. It is created by not giving yourself away faster than trust, respect, and attraction deserve. A woman thinks about what remains unfinished, the look that held meaning, the sentence that sounded personal but did not explain itself, the moment where she felt you moving closer, then watched you return calmly to your own world. That space makes her mind work. And when her mind works, your presence continues after you are gone. But there is a line you must respect. Leaving her wanting more is not leaving her confused, hurt, or insecure on purpose. That is weak. That is manipulation. The Stoic way is cleaner. You leave the interaction with warmth, respect, and confidence. You do not create chaos. You create memory. End the call before it becomes dull. Leave the date while the energy is still good. Stop texting before the conversation turns into empty words. Let your silence after a strong moment feel natural, not cold. Let her wonder because your life has direction, not because you are trying to punish her with distance. That is how a man becomes unforgettable without begging to be remembered. Most men want to be consumed immediately. They want the woman to know everything, feel everything, choose everything right now. But anything consumed too fast loses flavor. A man with depth is not consumed in one night. He is discovered in layers. So leave her wanting more by living with rhythm. Show up fully when you are there. Be warm. Be present. Let her feel the masculine tension in your calm. Then return to your purpose before your presence becomes cheap. Because the man who knows when to leave is the man she keeps bringing back into her mind. If this final lesson speaks to you, write this in the comments: I leave desire. Folks, today you learned why a woman keeps thinking about the man she cannot fully figure out. You learned how mystery, absence, restraint, quiet value, unfinished desire, and emotional control can make your presence stay in her mind without chasing her attention. But remember this, my friend, a Stoic man does not manipulate. He does not play childish games. He builds a life with depth, keeps his center, and reveals himself with discipline. If you want deeper lessons on female psychology, masculine mystery, Stoic confidence, and emotional control, consider joining our membership. That is where we go further than regular videos. And if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next lesson. Thank you for watching, folks. Stay calm, stay rare, and I will see you again tomorrow.